what if her and her daughter escaped? You know, because actually, maybe that would make
maybe
more
the
sense.
daughter did escape and she didn't. Maybe because the daughter went with the mom, didn't she?
Yes, because she chased after her mom.
Right. So she probably...
Old creepy lady is in there praying, looking guilty. I've never seen somebody look so damn guilty saying the Lord's Prayer ever in my damn life.
You remind me of me last year when I was talking about Fatima.
Yes.
This is me all over again.
Hello, and welcome, family, back to the channel. I know you guys have been saying, where the heck have you guys been? And you have to forgive us. We were traveling for the summer.
We've been on vacation.
But then the other thing that kind of messes up is, for some reason, what was it, like 2 episodes ago, Amazon Prime didn't have the show. So that completely threw us off.
Yeah.
And then I've also been putting the final touches on my documentary that I'm producing. So bear with us, but you know, of course, we had to get with you guys on the final episode. But before we...
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about the episode.
Yes, but before we get into the episode, we of course want to know, how many cans of peaches would you give this season? Out of 5 cans of peaches, if you stole them from Victor, how many would you give this episode?
Many orange markers? How many empty orange markers?
What did he say? He said,
that's a bad gift.
He said, the orange was dry.
The orange dry. It's a bad gift.
Hilarious. Man, I hate that we didn't talk about that episode.
I cried. That was so funny.
Victor is so funny. But let's just jump right into it. And then, of course, we'll do our play-by-play, and then we'll provide at the very end our constructive criticism. And then we'll give you guys our perspective of how we thought the season went. So this episode starts off and it shows Boyd. He's staring at the floor because that is where Jim and Tabitha's daughter was laying on the floor when she had her attack. Boyd walks outside and Jim is outside on the porch.
Jade.
I'm sorry, Jade. Yes, Jade is outside on the porch, and he says, it's too much that we don't know. It's almost like we're giving the directions to something, but then half the pages are missing. And you can just really kind of see the turmoil that people are going through because they can't sleep. So the stakes have been raised exponentially because we went from these monsters in the forest to now these things can get us at night to now they're killing people in their sleep.
Yeah, it's giving Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's really kind of scary. And also it's more than a little concerning. You know, if you can't sleep.
Yes.
I mean, like, you're running out of food, you can't sleep. I mean, how bad is this gonna get?
Yeah, exactly. So the people are really feeling the impact of what's going on.
Yep.
So then it transitions to Donna, Elgin, and the guy that stabbed Ellis.
That's his name. The guy who stabbed Ellis.
That's like, you don't get a name, player.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me how he gets out the car and he's like, oh, you guys finally let me out. Cause you should have been locked up for forever.
You stabbed somebody, dude. Like, what are you? That's manslaughter. Like, attempted murder.
Yeah, you should
be in the box.
In the damn box, and you complaining about helping in the forest. But anyway, so they're looking for Randall. And what I thought was true. At the end of last episode, I did not think Randall was dead when the things were attacking him, because I was just like, for some reason, I just feel like Randall's going to continue to be a big piece of the show. You need somebody
unfortunately.
Like that. Yeah. You need somebody like that.
You know how I feel about Randall Friendly. You already know how I feel about Randall.
So Randall's in there and they find him. And he's alive, but he's in the same state as Mario and Julie.
Yes. So he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and so are Meryl and Julie, and everybody's kind of like flabbergasted. They don't know, what is going on. They know that they're probably asleep, but they don't know to the effect of, what is going on, basically, because when they initially walked into the house, they saw the young woman. Her body was completely ripped open. Mm-hmm. So they're not knowing what to expect. Is she gonna rip open now, or like what is happening?
Yep.
So nobody knows really what to do.
Yeah, it's a really dire situation for everybody. And then it transitions to Boyd, Sarah, and Kenny, and they're walking in the forest. And Boyd is showing them the place where he came out of the cave where he received the scratch.
Yeah, remember, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially when he came out, remember with the torch, it was just like these ruins. And that's going to be important later on.
In
but
the
like,
episode, yeah.
it just was empty. So he's sharing with these people, he's sharing with Kenny and Sarah, like, this is what happened. I heard the music here. I can't, and they're both, which is weird to me, they're both looking at him like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
With all that you've seen here, you're looking at him like that what he's saying is so far-fetched.
Yeah, but especially with how things have escalated as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when they're debating whether or not
who the little boy
is and if he's a good person. And Sarah says she can hear the music playing. Mm-hmm. And this is when it transitions to all the people who are screaming, the three people, Randall, Mariel, and Julie. And she says they are going to die unless the music stops. And we're all kind of like, when I was watching, I'm like, damn, what is, because we all were kind of wondering, what is this ballerina? What is this music all about? I still don't think we truly know like how that kind of got infused into the show. And I don't want to go too much into it, but I feel like at times they just throw things in the show, but they don't truly explain why that gets thrown in. But we'll say that
we'll talk more about
later on toward the end of the episode. But I wanted to point something out about Kenny because he's looking at Sarah going through all this, and Kenny's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I feel like the last 3 episodes they have reduced Kenny to like. Kenny has probably said more curse words in the last 2 episodes than he has the last 2 seasons combined. Like, I really feel like they reduced him to like just a cussing dude. It's like he rarely has any like meaningful lines anymore.
And I feel like with Kenny, the actor, his acting, he acts so well. I think they could have given him some more better dialogue than those explanatives to express how he's feeling or the change he's gone through since he found out Sarah's responsible for his father's death and all these other things. There's a better way to show that transition than him dropping the F-bomb a million times.
Yep, I agree 1,100%.
I mean, give that actor something that he can chew on. He's like the best actor on the show.
You know what it reminds me of? Like how people complained about Tyrion in Game of Thrones, how they felt like after season 4 he just turned into like somebody who wasn't the same character that we were used to seeing, where he wasn't as witty and different things like that. And I kind of feel like they're doing that to Kenny a little bit.
But this isn't a Game of Thrones podcast. Okay, so just,
whatever. So it transitions to Colleen House, and that old creepy lady is in there praying, looking guilty. I've never seen somebody look so damn guilty saying the Lord's Prayer ever in my damn life.
You remind me of me last year when I was talking about Fatima.
Yes.
This is me all over again in this situation.
That lady is guilty. Mm-hmm. And this is when Donna tells Tobias to put the guns up, and we know Tobias because he's like the Colony House enforcer. Him and that damn shotgun. Mm-hmm. They live together.
Yeah. And I knew something bad was going to happen to Tobias with that.
But that didn't make sense for Don. Like, we need to move the guns. Why do you need to move the guns? Why is anything any different where you need to? But not only that, why would you put all the guns in one location? Like, I would think that you would want the guns strategically placed in multiple locations so not all of them can be accessed. But moving on. Yeah. Jim and Tabitha are talking to Victor about Victor's mom, saying we need to set the children free. We need to help the children escape. And they feel like this is the way to escape. And this is when she says she wants to go to the tower. Jim says Victor's mom never came back, foreshadowing Tabitha and Victor's mom connecting possibly. Mm-hmm. Because is it possible that Victor's mom actually escaped? And if you recall, later on, and we'll go in more detail, when Victor takes her to the tree with the bottles, mm-hmm. Victor gives her his lunchbox, and not only is there snacks in there, but there's drawings. And I would not be surprised if one of those drawings helps Tabitha or Victor's mom get back. This is when Tabitha asks Victor, does he know a way to the tower? And Victor says He doesn't know a way to the tower, but he says he knows how to get her to the bottle tree, which possibly would get her to the tower.
And the bottle tree is a faraway tree.
Exactly. It's a faraway tree. Boy, Sarah, and Kenny are in the forest asking what should they do. And Boy says, just go back to town. And then she says, they're like, what are we going to say to these people? We came out to the forest to get answers. And Boyd is saying, well, shit, all we really can do is say we know more than we knew the previous day. So we have to, take it as a win. Excuse me. Colony House. We're back at Colony House, and Ellis is talking to the guy whose girlfriend was killed in her sleep. And of course, he is still distraught and going through it. And, he's kind of apologizing for having to lock him up because if you remember, he pushed Ellis. And he pushed him, in that moment of being distraught.
Ellis can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Ellis.
Yeah, I still don't understand how Ellis is walking the hell around. Dude, you got stabbed. You had fluid in your lungs. And this chick literally dug her hand in your chest cavity, loosened it up to... Why are you walking around, bro?
Yeah, Christy is, for 3 years of medical school, she sure is making miracles happen. Okay?
She is holding it down. So, of course, it transitions to Fatima, and she's talking to Ellis, and she said, let's just go ahead and get married now. Because initially the plan was to, when they had all that hope that they were going to escape, to get married when they escape, but shit, that's not happening.
And remember, what these people are thinking right now. They just found out that not only do you die if you go outside with these monsters, you can die in your sleep, apparently. So, they're kind of at a loss. They don't know what is going on. They don't know if they're going to survive the night. They don't know if they fall asleep or if they're going to be ripped open. They don't know what's going on, because not only is a person being ripped open from falling asleep, there's 3 people who are just writhing in pain or in like what seems to be like a coma. So it's like, why not? YOLO.
Yeah. Why not go ahead and do it? You knocked up too, so you might as well not play. So it transitioned to Jade, and he's in a bar breaking glass, and he's reflecting, because he's trying to look at that image in a different perspective. Maybe by breaking the glass and looking at it differently, the problem differently, he'll come up with a solution. And the bartender appears, and Jade, this is interesting to me because Jade doesn't even panic. At this point, he doesn't even he just has a full-fledged conversation with the bartender, and they have a joke, and he says, you changed the still because I guess Jade hooked it up and got the alcohol to taste better. And the bartender says, hey man, why don't you go down in that tunnel? You know what you need to do. And then I thought this was an interesting quote. They said, nothing about this place is obvious. No. And then he says, nothing about here is familiar. There's a 16-year-old girl who needs your help. And that was kind of the catalyst to Jade going down there. Now, I'm kind of wondering, is that like an evil spirit talking to him or a good spirit? Because is that spirit trying to get him to kill himself, similar to what we saw with Boyd and his wife, how the spirit kind of comes and tries to either put him in a precarious situation or make him stop doing something that is actually helpful. So I guess it'll be interesting to see.
Is it helpful?
I don't know.
Because I don't know. Like I'm wondering, is what she's saying actually true? Because she said everybody's going to die here. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just, delaying the inevitable. And that made me go back to my crackpot theory of maybe that's how you escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said, a lot of people, were kind of saying that, even his wife. And this is when it transitions to Boyd and Sarah. They're at the police station, and Sarah asks him, did you bury Polly yet? And Boyd is like, oh shit. And she's like, I'll go bury it. And then she tells him, do the best that you can, because Boyd is falling apart. Now we see Tobias. He's putting the guns up, and this pissed me off. I am going to talk about this a little bit, because he's putting the guns up, and then once again he gets his neck slashed. And this is like the 5th person to get their neck slashed on this show. And I'm like, why is that the go-to weapon of choice?
But do you remember what he said, though?
What'd he say?
When he slashed his throat, he said, I'm sorry, this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Like, he was going to die. Like, we're all going to go eventually.
So
it was just giving very, mass shooting. Like, I really thought that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah. Because even
Boyd's wife.
Yeah. Even with the wedding and situation, like when he grabbed the gun, I thought we were going to see like a Game of Thrones red wedding situation. I thought he was going to shoot the wedding up. Another thing that kind of frustrated me is that if this gentleman is kind of like the guy that's the enforcer, like, why would he not suspect that something was going to happen? Here I am putting these guns up. You walk up behind me. I don't know why he wasn't a little bit more on guard, but it is what it is. So Jim goes into the cave. He accidentally slides down. And Jade. He goes into the cave and accidentally slides down. And this is when he sees that doll perched up on the rocks again. And it hollers at him and it makes him jump. Then it goes back to the church, and Boyd is losing his composure. He's questioning God and faith. And then he's looking up and he says something interesting. He says, "Are you enjoying this?" Basically taunting God, saying, "Why are you putting us through this bullshit? Why are you putting us through this?" And then he said, "Kachi thought you had a plan." He said that prayer right before he died. You know what, motherfucker? I am not here to pray. I was like, dang. And then he kicks over the mailbox, and then here comes Donna walking in out of nowhere. Donna is like, Jesus. She could be walking in at all the right times or wrong times, depending on how you want to look at it. So she walks in.
Back to Kenny, Christy, and her girlfriend at the house, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's losing hope. We are all going to die, Kenny says. And it's hard. He says it's hard to see.
So it was actually, I think it was Christy was saying we're all going to die. And this is when Kenny says, it is hard when you are a thread to see the sweater. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a pretty powerful statement there, because he's telling her to kind of have some hope.
Yeah. And remember what Boyd's wife said about hope. Mm-hmm. It is not the fear that it kills you here. It's the hope. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, they're giving those little tidbits. And like you said, some of it makes a lot of sense, And like I said, I don't think we know where these people are and what is happening, but we'll discuss that a little bit more. Right. So this is when Kenny says, what if it's not our job to actually leave or figure this out, but it's our job to actually make it easier for the people to come behind us or after us. Thought that was a really amazing statement.
But that's the thing, though. They did have systems here. So what, now that they're running out of food and they can't sleep, what are they going to do to make this better? This situation better? Are they going to find something else, like a talisman, or like what else do they need to do to make this place better than their limited resources allows?
Yeah, and it's possible that Kenny was just trying to comfort her in that moment, because sometimes even when you know the inevitable, you just want people to go out calmly. It's like somebody gets shot and the first thing people always say to them is, "You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay." And it's like, no, maybe not. But you don't want them to die not having been comforted in that process. So now it's back to Boyd and Donna in there at the church, and Boyd says Sarah told him they are going to die. Boyd says it's like having a manual with pages missing. Boyd begins to blame himself, and he feels like he brought this thing here, referring to the worms and I guess the killing of the monsters. He tells him that Donna tells him that his son is getting married. She tells Boyd, put this shit aside for a minute and come over here and support your son, basically, which was a good statement. So then it transitions to Jade, and he's in the cave looking around. He sees those kids saying "Akuli" or whatever.
Akuli.
The dirty kids. No, I won't call them dirty.
I call them park kids.
The
those
park
kids in the park. You always see they're always running around with dirty feet and they have snotty, crusty noses, and park kids.
Yeah.
Like garbage
I feel sorry for them now. Now that we find out that they're stuck there. So hopefully, I feel a little bit sorry for him. So he sees the kids. They're surrounding him in the shape of a rock, kind of. He looks up and he sees that shape that he's been seeing in his dreams. They almost look like they're on an altar pit or something. Yeah, being sacrificed. That is a good observation. Because it's like, why would they just be laying there like that? It did look like a sacrificial type position. So we see Victor and Tabitha.
Or in the first looks
for the tree,
mm-hmm.
and they can't see the tree, but then Victor hears the bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor says he found his mother on the ground. Now, this is interesting to me because a lot of people have the theory that when Tabitha left, she's going to find Victor's mother and they're going to team up together. But Victor said he saw his mom dead on the ground. And it makes you wonder, okay, did he really see his mom? Because sometimes the monsters do rip people up and they may not be identifiable. Or did his mom die another way? And I'm really curious to know if Victor really did see his mom down there that was dead.
But remember, that bottle tree,
Mm-hmm.
that's where Jim and Jay got attacked by those Civil War soldiers.
Yep, where he had that vision. And it was actually Jay just was attacked.
Oh, right, Jay.
And then Jim
found him,
mm-hmm. You know, kind of going through it. But
right.
That's a very great point. So he says, he shows her the tree. He said his mother didn't know she made it. And then this is when Victor gives her his lunchbox with snacks. I thought that was so kind of him and sweet. And he doesn't say the drawings are there, but we see them there. And they hug. Excuse me. And when they hug, it was such an emotional hug. It was almost like Victor hadn't had meaningful physical contact in so long. It was almost like he felt like he was hugging his mom almost or something.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's what Tabitha represents to him, and it's like he's letting go another mother figure.
And that's exactly. And then also, she is also one of the few people that actually treats Victor with respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure
outside of Ethan.
Yeah. But the one few adult that does so.
Mm-hmm.
So Tabitha goes in the tree, and then she comes out of the tree and she's in the forest, and we see the tower and the doors. Then it transitions to Ellis and Fatima, and they're in their room. Ellis has decorated it very nicely for the wedding. Boyd walks in, and Fatima asks Boyd to walk her down the aisle, which is pretty cool. And like I said before, I thought that this was going to be like, first of all, I thought it was going to be more people at the Colony House attending the wedding. And then I thought when old boy stole the guns, he was actually going to shoot everybody up at the thing. But we're going to find out what he actually did. So Ellis says, "You are my light in darkness." And it triggers Boyd. And Boyd is like, that's right. Maybe I need that.
I got to go.
Yeah, and that was weird. And it's back at the Jim's residence. And Ethan asks, will they see Thomas again, which is, I guess, their brother that passed away. Mm-hmm. And he also asks, would he see Grandma? And Jim says yes. He thought
so Ethan grabs a pillow. Oh, she needs 2 pillows. I really thought that Ethan was going to try to smother his sister.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that. Maybe because last episode he was just like, has stopped believing in miracles or some shit. I don't know, but he was going through it. Like, he was becoming very petulant.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was like, you know what? I'm going to kill this bitch. I don't know. It's just, I don't know where my mind went. It just was going to.
No, I can see why you said that, because his whole personality has changed the last couple episodes. Like, he's completely pessimistic now. And it wouldn't have surprised me if he would have did something like that. So this is when the guy pulls up on Boyd with the gun, and he's blaming Boyd. He's saying, "You're the reason all this shit started." He shoots Boyd, and then Boyd falls to the ground and kills him
with a shotgun.
It wasn't a shotgun.
It's not a shotgun.
It was a rifle.
Okay.
It was. I think it looked like it was Randall's rifle, because I think that was the same kind of bag that he had. Because if it was a shotgun, it would have caused probably way more damage.
Right. Okay. Because I was wondering why it wasn't like a fatal hit. Right.
Yep.
Right.
So Boyd walks over to the cave area and he lights the torch, and then he goes into the cave. He hears the music box and sees Randall, Christy, Chrissy's girl, and then Julie.
Now they're hanging up just like what's the guy name? He was
the soldier. I know. What was his name?
I don't remember his name.
God,
but the one that scratched Boyd.
Yep.
They were hanging there, so I'm wondering, did that happen to him?
And I was wondering that too, because if you watch our previous videos, I felt like the reason why that guy was hanging there is because he had those special powers, and the monsters couldn't kill them without killing themselves. So they would capture the people that got these worms and then just let them rot away. But then, once again, how did dude get these damn worms? You know? Why are they now hanging up like how he was hanging up? And we don't know. We just know that they're sitting in there hanging up on the trees, right? I mean, hanging up by the chains. And this is when Boy's wife appears and she encourages Boy to stop. She says, you think you need to be a hero. You don't have to suffer and be afraid. We can be together. It wants you to have hope because hope makes you suffer. It makes you leave. It makes you leave me alone when I needed you. It made you leave me alone when I needed you. And she was referring to how Boy was constantly going in the forest, finding goats, finding talisman, doing all these things when she was mentally breaking down. Boy breaks the music box and now everyone is okay, right? And at that point, we see all the people embracing. The only person that wakes up by himself is Randall. Good old poor Randall wakes up by
no one who loves him holding his hand.
Damn Randall, right? And Boy comes out and Boy says to the forest, you don't break me. You won't fucking break me.
You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul.
Beyonce. Hit him with the damn Beyonce. Then the dog appears and runs off. I really want to know
what this dog is.
What's up with this dog?
We'll probably never know.
It's like we're in second season and we still don't know what the fuck is up with this dog.
We'll never know.
So Jim is at home. They're at home recovering. Ethan gets up and he notices that the locust sound has stopped. Julie asks, where is mom? And then it transitions to Tabitha. She's climbing the staircase. She hears those children's voices. She climbs up and sees a mechanical device spinning that is shining the light. My question is, how is this machine powered? That reminded me a lot of Lost. Like Lost had those random machines doing stuff where in the middle of the island, you could turn it and the island moves and disappears. But then the boy in the white comes out of nowhere and says he is sorry. He says that this is the only way. Then he pushes her out the window. She wakes up. She's in a hospital. A doctor says the people found her on a trail. So she has escaped. So a lot of people think that she is going to try to connect with Victor's mom somehow.
But again, Victor said that
his mom died, supposedly.
His mom died.
But
he said that several times.
Yeah.
Like throughout the show, he found her and such. I don't know if she's gonna. I think that was a wrap for Julie. I mean Tabitha. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're gonna see, if we do get a season 3. With the writer's strike and all what's going on. I don't think we're gonna see Tabitha again.
I don't know. I think that we will, because I think what happened was, and now we're going into kind of a little bit about what we feel about the season. I don't think that when they did season 1, they expected it to get the cult following that it had. And I felt like that's why we saw in season 2, they had to make a monumental shift, because at some point the monsters can no longer be the fundamental antagonists in here, because after a while, now that we got the talisman, the monsters really can't do shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're at this point, they're almost irrelevant. So you had to introduce new antagonists and things like that. And that's what I feel like kind of lost me a little bit. And why I feel like you see people, when they talk about the show, they're so divided. When you look in the groups and stuff like that, some people love it and some people are really frustrated, because it seems like they do at times introduce things without explaining things. They just, and it's because we don't have a clear understanding of what is going on. They can throw whatever the fuck they want in the show.
Right. Like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think with this show, it's one of those shows where they're not going to answer everything. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. There's another show that's kind of does this. It's called Evil. It's a very good show, and they never explain anything. Like, it just kind of like stuff just happens. Mm-hmm. And we don't ever get an explanation for it. Mm-hmm. Does it push the story along? Sort of. but it's just kind of there. Really not even as a plot device. So, you know, I'm at a point where with the show where I'm like, we're not going to get answers to this stuff.
Yeah, we're getting answers, and the answers are being dripped on us, right? But the problem is, you give me one answer, then you introduce five other things, and they just get introduced.
What happened with the thing with Elgin and him being on the bus and dreaming that, knowing about this place, never explained that, and they made it seem like it was going to be such a huge thing, because why would you be on the bus that gets there and you're panicking like, oh no, like, you've been here before.
Yep.
Maybe he has been here before. Maybe he got pushed out of the lighthouse, and it, you know, it's like, why do that?
Yeah. Because it, like you said, we thought he was going to really be a catalyst.
That's too big of a thing to put in the season for you not to answer.
Yeah, like his whole role, like I'm very disappointed because they made it seem like he was going to be somebody important. And yeah, he did a couple of things, like when that night where he drove Ellis when he got stabbed, and I don't know why he was the guy that they chose to drive, because he's new, it's dark, you don't know the terrain. But you know, there were some things that have people really questioning, and some people are really saying, like, you know, am I really interested in watching a season 3 if it comes out, right? There's some people saying that, and some people are saying, I would just binge this shit. I will wait.
I would do that too.
So that's what some people are saying. It was an interesting show. Now, let's talk about this episode, how many cans of peaches, and then let's talk about the season can of peaches. So, this episode, I would give it like maybe 8 cans of peaches. I think that there was a lot of intense moments. You know, definitely a lot of intense moments. And then, of course, the fact we saw Tabitha escape, different things like that.
I'm going to give it an 8 too for that, because we got...
4 cans of peaches.
4, yeah. But because we got one big answer. You can't escape.
Yeah.
There is a way out.
So now the question is, what is the entity they fight now? Because they got the monsters under control with the talisman. It seems like they've stopped this entity that was killing people in their sleep. So what now becomes the next iteration of the challenges that come along?
I think the challenges that are going to come along are more of the personal relationships with people within the town. I think Julie is going to be feeling some type of way that her mom decided to leave, and nobody knows where she is. Gone. Nobody knows that she's escaped. And Tabitha, I don't know. I don't think she's gonna know how to get back there, because Tabitha is not the type of character who's gonna leave, you know, get out and then not try to go back for her family.
Yeah.
But I think she's gonna drive herself. If we do see Tabitha again, she's gonna drive herself crazy trying to find her way back.
Yeah, and that's why I think those posters in Victor's lunchbox are going to be important. Those drawings. I think that those drawings are going to trigger something. And I would not be surprised if Victor's mom has been spending the rest of her days, if she would probably be pretty damn old.
If she tried to get out.
Yeah, if she got out, I wouldn't be surprised if she was spending the rest of her days trying to find Victor. You know, or shit, what if her and her daughter escaped? You know, because actually, maybe that would make more sense.
Maybe the daughter did escape and she didn't. Maybe because the daughter went with the mom, didn't she?
Yes, because she chased after her mom.
Right. So she probably, Victor's sister probably got out.
It's very possible.
And mom didn't, but trying to protect her from getting killed or something like that. And then the sister got out. Maybe Tabitha's gonna try to get up front with the sister.
Yeah, and that, because if you remember, Tabitha's the only person who knows that Victor had a sister. Victor told her that. And then
wait, Jade, didn't she tell Jade?
I can't remember. What?
Regardless,
not many people know, and right. Tabitha knows, which is important because Victor's mom would be very freaking old, because Victor is 40 years old. Let's say his mom had him when she was like 25. So that would mean his mom is anywhere from 65 to 75 years old. So it would probably make more sense that the sister escaped.
Yeah.
And he saw his, yes, and maybe they connect.
Candace's crackpot theory of the week. Maybe Tabitha is Victor's mom, and she got out, and she's remembering what's going on, and she's coming back as Victor's sister. And
oh hell no!
This is what y'all sound like This is what y'all sound like. Okay, I just want to put that out there. I know my crackpot theories, but dang, y'all need to touch grass, go outside.
All right, so now our cans of peaches for the season. Out of 5 cans of peaches for the season, I'm going to lean towards a 3.5 cans. And the last 3 episodes or so, to me, kind of saved the season. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I was weary because there was just different. I was weary, dude. I was like, boy, shit. You know, one time I went into church and I kicked over. No, I was weary because it was just different things happening that it just didn't make sense to me. And I was just like, why are they doing these, these like simple things that was happening? Like, just give you a quick example. The idea that you're going to put that bowl on bullets fired out like,
where did that come from?
Like firearms, when you discharge a firearm, the amount of heat and friction that's going on, and then for it to fly through the air, like what would make you think the bow was like that? Like stuff like that, it just made me mad, and I was just like, it just doesn't make
it didn't
sense.
Make any sense.
There was I'm trying to think of a couple other examples throughout the season that had me like, why are we, even whatchamacaller's, girlfriend, right, with the addiction, and how would Christy not recognize that her girl was addicted still, right? So like, it was obvious that she was with her before, had an addiction. I've had family if I've had family members that have been addicted to drugs, and you could tell when they are off and clean and when they are using, right? So it would be just these little small things that would happen that would just kind of frustrate me, because I'm like, what are we doing here, right? But so that's why I would give the season a 3.5 cans of peaches, because it was little things. I can't think of them all. Maybe we'll do a video on the top 5 things that we didn't like about the season or something, and reflect on that. But it was just different things.
I'm gonna have to give this season 2 cans of peaches.
Oh shit!
It was a real struggle to finish this season.
Ooh.
Or to care. The only thing that kept me going watching this is the acting. The acting is so, everybody on this show can act their ass off, and I'm just like, kudos. So it's not the actors, it's the material that was given to the actors. Whoever wrote this. Some of the directorial choices were kind of like, what? But overall, the writing, the script was a problem for me. And again, it probably came from this show being on this teeny tiny streaming network that it became a sleeper hit, and they didn't know, because if you think about how the last season ended, that was a perfect way to end a show that would only have 1 season. At least to me, it was wrapped up pretty well with a good little cliffhanger, like that made you think like, oh man, this is all bad, but you felt good knowing that it would have ended. I think the writers and producers got caught up in like, oh my God, this became bigger than we thought it would become. We've got to come up with long formatted storylines because of how popular this show's getting. We might get 2-3 more seasons, so we need to kind of like pull and stretch all this material out, add all these different things to these different characters to keep the story kind of going. But it didn't do that. The story is going, but I don't think they used the right, I don't know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. They didn't use the right plot devices, or did they use any plot devices? I
think it goes back to what I was saying. If the monsters are the primary catalyst, once you got the talisman, the monsters are irrelevant, right?
Right.
So now you got to create more plot devices.
I mean, you have to create, again, comes back with the actors. You have, in the storylines within the town, you have to create conflicts and things to happen within the conflict of the town to make them make these mistakes to where the monsters do get access to them, i.e. the lonely dude in Colony House, in a house full of people, and he lets open a window and lets the monsters in. We saw that happening the first 2 episodes we watched the show last year. Like we even said it. Roll the clip. There's too many people in this house for something like that not to happen. So we were right about that. So again, going back to what I was saying, the conflict or the protagonist in this would be the characters within the characters. And then the monsters would be the added stress of, so I think that's what they tried to add more added stress to the situation, but it kind of just was too much all at once.
And you're not alone. A lot of people felt exactly how you felt, and I still feel that way a little bit. Because they just introduce things whenever they want, however they want, because we don't know what is going on. So now, like I said, what is going to be the primary catalyst now? You got the talisman. You didn't kill the monster. You stopped the locust things. The one thing is they were talking about the locust. Sarah was talking about her brother was scared of them. And does the forest grab your fears and use that against people? Where did that come from? They just did it, and all of a sudden these locusts are just doing stuff. But
and now they're gone. So what's now going to be the next thing that has people worried? And once again, is Boyd. Is he going to ever tell anybody about the fucking tower? Like, the only person knows about the tower is Victor and Tabitha. Tabitha's fucking gone. No, Boyd knows about it too, because doesn't Sarah know too?
I don't know if Sarah knows about. Oh yeah, because she saw the tower too. But nobody's talking. It's like,
and that's another problem. Nobody is talking to each other. And I feel like the writers are purposely doing that because, I mean, how much more could you do once everybody starts talking to each other and figuring everything out?
And let me say this, since you kind of said that was one of the other reasons I kind of knocked the show down, because this entire season took place over the course of 3 to 5 days.
Yeah.
That's frustrating to me. I know this ain't Game of Thrones. Fuck, House of the Dragon went 30 years in 3 episodes, right? How is it that it's like they literally made this entire season 3 to 5 days? And I'm like, that's not fair, right? And then especially for a show that's only 10 seasons. And I want to make a comment about this slow burn stuff, and then I'm gonna be done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be done. One of the things that I don't like in some of the From groups is that anytime somebody says that they don't like the direction of the show, or they don't like that there's no answers, they get attacked.
They insult your intelligence.
Yes, and I don't like that. But I lost my point. What was I saying before that?
You don't like that when you go into the groups, they if you say that you don't like something.
Oh, the point I was making was this idea of a slow burn, right? I get it, but and some people say they compare it to Lost and other shows talking about it's a slow burn. Lost was damn 20 episodes, 25 episodes
per season.
Right? And I started watching Lost because of this, and I literally watched all the seasons of Lost up until the island disappeared and they got off the island, and then they all decided to get back on the island. I said, all right, I can't do this shit.
I told you.
Yeah, and I said I can't do it. But the point that I'm making is, can you realistically do a slow burn with a show that only got 10 episodes, and some of the episodes are short? By the time you do the recap from the previous episodes,
and then the 3 verse intro.
The 3-verse intro, singing this long ass song. Then you got the credits at the end. The 40-minute episode shrinks down to maybe almost 30 minutes.
20 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think about that slow burn idea? We want to thank you guys for rocking with us through another season of From. I'm curious to know what you guys, other shows you guys are watching and want us to kind of do. I kind of want to do some movies and stuff like that. Like we saw, what movie did we see the other day?
The Blackening.
We saw The Blackening. So maybe if Candace feels like it, we'll get in here tomorrow. And
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Okay.
But we want to thank you guys for rocking with us, man. And you guys have been great because we haven't posted. You guys are like, where you guys at? Are y'all okay?
That's really sweet.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. And I'll say this on my other YouTube channel. We will see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded.